Today we are going to learn how to create equipment from the standard equipment library in PDMS. We are using PDMS 12.1 version. Okay, so you can see at the top that it shows pipework application, but we are going to create equipment. So the first thing to do is to change the application to equipment. How can we do that? You go to design, equipment. There you go. So you have equipment application at the top. So how do we do that? First, you need to create the site. So you create the site. It could be maybe a condensate site or subsurface or surface equipment processing site, things like that. So what you can do is to make sure that you are in the world level, in the hierarchy level, and you go to create and site. So I can name it, let's say, surface treatment, and click OK. There you go. You have your site created. So you go and create the next hierarchy, which is zone. So you say, okay, which zone am I in? Maybe it's a zone you want to give to a particular user to design. Then you can say zone user 1, or if it's, now we are creating equipment, so we can just say equipment zone. So you go to zone, create a zone, and then you, let's say, equipment zone, equipment 1 zone to be specific. So you say under the surface treatment site, you have your equipment zone. So in this zone, you can create your equipment. So I can create equipment, or you can create equipment using primitive. You can just say create and then the primitives, and then you can assemble the primitives to become a particular vessel or a particular equipment depending on the shape or and size. So but today we are creating from the standard equipment library and modify it to fit the specification we want. So you can do it using create standard equipment, or you can just use the standard equipment button that gives you a shortcut directly to the standard equipment creation form. So I click here and I can name it. Since I'm creating a tank, I can just say tank 1. You can give it any name you want. And if you go to the drop down selection, you will see that you have the standard equipment and the advanced. I usually use the advanced because it gives me more options. So if you click on the advanced, you get storage. You can create any equipment related to what you want: heat exchanger, pumps, and vessels. Today we are going to create storage tank. So just click storage, and at the end we can see dish, whether it's dish, conical, bottom. Today we are going to create a vessel with dish both ends. So click this one, and you can have a graphics of what you want to create. To modify the properties to fit the specification your customer want or you want, just click properties, and there you go. You can see the profile of the equipment, and you can also see the specifications of the equipment. So today we are going to create, we can leave this standard, but let's just, for the tutorial sake, so that you know, we can actually change this. So in the knuckle radius, I can just say, okay, put this 150. You just click and put on the value you want. So let's just leave it like that. You can also click this and change it. Instead of 2800, I can say, okay, I want this to be 2850, for instance, or 810, for instance. And then you can also choose which support you want. You can choose if it's going to have 4 squares like support or pad. Today we'll just leave it at none because we're not interested in support today. And then click OK. So when you click OK, it's like nothing happened, but the specification has been changed. So just click apply. When you click apply, you see that the position button has been activated. This gives you the option of where you want to position the vessel. So if I click here, it means position the vessel at 7275 east, 2350 north, and 100 up. So it gives you the up and down movement, it gives you the east and west movement, and it gives you the north and south movement. So when I click apply, the PDMS will position the vessel that have been created in this particular location, and you can also see it in the graphics. So I'll click apply. There we go. Well, congratulations, we have created our first vessel. So to create another vessel, you can create another vessel by using the same procedure. And after that, just close the vessel creation form. One thing I want to tell you as well is that you can rename this the zone, the equipment, and the site. You can rename it at any time. For instance, if I want to rename this tank to let's say condensate tank, I can right click and rename. So you click on rename, and I say let me give it condensate tank, or condensate tank 1, for instance, and I click apply. You see, it has changed, and then you dismiss. Very simple. And if you want to view this tank, you can manipulate these views here using these buttons to see how your tank really look like, because this is giving you like a plan view. So you can right click and go to isometric. If you go to isometric 3, you can see how your tank really looks like. You can view it a little bit from the top and how the side looks like as well. You can also create a nozzle to the tank. Very easy. You can just say create. Make sure that the tank you want to create a nozzle on becomes the current element, so that whatever you create or any other equipment you create will be attached to the tank or the equipment you have created. So if you go to create nozzle, and the nozzle creation form comes up, and you can say, okay, I want to create tank 1 nozzle. Okay, that's just the name. You can give it any name, and you can use the nozzle type to check which specification of nozzle you want to create. So there are standard specifications. Let's say I want to create an ANSI nozzle, and you have options of which general type of nozzle you want to create. Let's say I want to create the 300 pounds flange with flanges. So you can also select the bore diameter. So let's say I'm creating a nozzle of 100 ball, and I can just say apply, and that's the specification. Then it will tell you what's the nozzle height. Let's say I want to use 400 millimeter nozzle height, and what's the position. I can say okay with reference to the tank I have created, so I can give this particular position. I want it to face west, and I'll give it west 1675. You can give any position you want relative depending on where you want the nozzle to be on the tank. So let's say 0 knot and 250 up. And the orientation, the P1 orientation gives you the how you want the flange face of the nozzle to face. Do you want it to face north, west, south? So I want in this case I want it to face west. So, and you are good to go. Just click apply. You can see under the equipment, you see that a nozzle has been created that has just the name that we gave it. So you can just click, if you want to create another nozzle, of course you can create an extra nozzle, but right now we are done with that. So you click dismiss. So you see, if you zoom up, you can make this, you can limit this, and you can see the nozzle. Yeah, I will show you in my next tutorial how to use all these views. But now you can see that we have a nozzle on the tank, and you can zoom up and down to see the position on the tank. You can also position it up, way more up or way more down by modifying the position of the nozzle. And one thing as well is that you can always change the position of the tank or the equipment you have created if you want. For instance, if you want to change the position of this tank that we just created, you click it to make it the current element, and you go to this one says modify property. This one, you can use this to modify the property even after creation of the tank. You can modify the position. For instance, if I click this, you will see the value that I already given for the position of the tank, which I can change at any time. So I can change this to another value, and also I can change the orientation of the tank by clicking this button, and it will tell you, okay, if I, for instance, put angle 90, it will turn the tank by 90 degrees. And also there are other ways you can use to manipulate the direction of where the tank should face or things like that. Okay, we are done with the tank we have just created. This is the tank we have just created. So we can as well, if you want to create a different equipment, you have to go back to the zone to create another equipment on that zone. So for instance, we want to create a pump under the zone. We follow the same methodology. Just go to create standard equipment, or you follow this like we already used, and let's say we want to name it pump 1, and go to advanced and say we want a pump instead. So this gives you how the position of the outlet, and whether it's centerline pump or centerline mounted or tangential so it gives you how the inlet and the outlet are aligned. So let's say we want a pump that is centerline mounted, but the outlet is tangential. to the inlet nozzle. So we can say, okay, we click that is a pipe, a pump with a tangential outlet. You can see it here being specified, and you can also see the view of a pump you just have selected. And with the properties, just like we did for the tank, you can always change it. So let's say we have this, so it gives you all the position, the specification for the base plate, the height, the weight, the nozzles, and yeah. So this is also very important because if you want to connect like the nozzles from the pump to the tank, you have to make sure that the balls are similar. So in order to do that, yeah, you can also as well use reducers anyway, but just to make everything straight, let's select the 100 millimeter ball for both discharge and suction nozzles, and nothing left, just click OK, and it's been created. So for you to create this, we just change the properties, but click apply. The same thing, you see the position creation form pops up, and click on it, modify the position to a different position. Let's say we want the pump to position at 4,700, and this is 5,000 knots, and up 350. When I click apply, PDMS will position the pump that is just created on this location. So, and dismiss. You can see the pump here. Now, one thing you will face here is the pump is facing a different direction. It's not very economical for piping. So how do I make this pump to face the tank so that it will be very easier or more economical to pipe? So what you can do is very easy. The pump, select the pump that you just created, which is the current element you selected, and you click on the model editor. The model editor will display all the directions, so you know how to move the direction up. You can manipulate this pump, if you want to move it up, or you want to move it down, you want to move it west or east, or in the XY axis, you want to move it up or down, you can do that. If you want to turn it, you can always do that. See, it's like magic, right? So you can see that it's very easy to manipulate. Okay, you can turn it up, down, rotate. The manipulation is super excellent. So you can see now that we have rotated the pump, and the suction nozzle is now facing the tank that has been created. Alright, in the next lecture, we are going to learn how to do some pipe work to connect the pump to the tank.